Hi, Always Believers. Hi, Team Flyer. How are you? Welcome to another episode here at the Always Believer podcast, of course. It took me a little bit of time to start this episode because I was laughing at myself, and that's just the beauty of life, of like the smallest little things that make, I don't know. I just love laughing at myself because why not? Anyways, today we have the gorgeous and the wonderful. I adore this girl so much. She's just pure energy and spark. Miss Jackie. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Ariana. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm like soups excited. Like, it's just insane.
I love that phrase, soups excited. That's amazing. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So we met, we were just talking about this previously, like, I don't know when. I know it was, I guess, some point of 2019, obviously. And maybe through a mutual friend, Liv from Style by Liv, who was also on the podcast. She was our first guest. It could be through that, but definitely Instagram. Definitely something that like
Instagram's our best friend. That's all we gotta say.
It always is.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
I agree. And I remember like just seeing you, and you were just, it's one of those things, just pure fire and energy and like glitter and sparks.
Yes,
you're just
glitter and sparks. I'm loving it.
Like, that's Jackie. That's the best way I can like explain who Jackie is. But that's just verbs and words. I want to know, and the viewers want to know more about you. So tell us, who are you? What's your backstory? What are you all about, girl?
Love it. Well, thank you for the beautiful introduction, first of all. Second of all, so I am a marketing business mentor. I guess now I'm helping people funnel like places that they should dedicate their marketing income. So I become a marketing coach. But by day, I have a talent management background. So I placed babies through 80-year-olds in movie and TV for a long time. And public relations is what I majored in college. So I love to represent people and get their stories out. That's like my heart and passion and soul. And I do that through social media. I do a ton of social media consulting, management I do for companies. I also help people, like I said, do overall marketing coaching. So like, where do they put their marketing dollars? Do they want to put it in media? Do they want to put it in social media? All of that stuff. I also have a coaching program now. So I have mastermind programs, which help people basically do it yourself. But you have me as like a mentor, which is really fun. And I also have a magazine. I have a podcast. Ariana is going to be on my podcast next month. So exciting. And I have events that I do 2 to 3 times a year. So we are full service marketing and media agency.
It is incredible. Like, okay, so first things first. Like I said, we talked through Instagram, and I saw you a whole bunch, and I knew most of all like the social media stuff that you did, the coaching, the mentoring, whatnot. I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool. And then all of a sudden you go to your about page, and there's so much information, and so much information, but it's not like like, how to explain this?
They all kind of like pair together.
Exactly. There you go. So it's very well written, first of all, and second of all, you're like, oh my God, you've done all the things, you've done all the things. I swear, like the whole Broadway, as well your about page says. You also, so the talent agency company, right? You're still like placing people, and you want to inspire and like make sure that like I love that.
It was really fun. Like I did it for 3 or 4 years. So now what I've learned is like I've taken all my skills from being a talent manager, and now I basically help small businesses, influencers, and startups become like, their own celebrities in their areas. So like I become a talent manager for these types of people because there aren't talent managers in business. So I'm like, I want to create this niche market. And that's kind of how I got started.
I feel like that's something we all need, especially because, I mean, first things first, I keep saying that for some reason right now, but I was like, I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm like, oh my God, all the feelings. I also studied marketing because much like you, I love it. I love what we can do and what we can create out of something quote unquote so small and turn it into something so gigantic. But people who don't like marketing, who are not interested but have a whole like their own business, you're perfect for them as well, because it's like, yo, I'm going to make you a superstar. Like these
Exactly.
are the steps 1, 2, 3. It's the magic. So it's like you don't have to study a freaking degree. Just I'm here and I have all these experiences. You have years of experiences as well.
I love that phrase. You have such great phrases, Ariana. I need this in my everyday life. Like, just keep spitting them at me. I love it. Yeah. No, but it's true. Like, I feel like who better to teach, like, from experience when you really self-taught and kind of done it on your own, right? People want to work with people
Amen. Yep.
that, like, have real life experience, and those are the best teachers.
And that's something that I'm all about and that we're all about here. They always believe in the community that we're creating, because it's like every single story we have, much like yours, is like you are self-made. And it started with me in the sense of like I was also self-made. Like I had to teach myself so many hard lessons in life, and like I have to like push through. And even though it has nothing to do with like the business world in this particular case, like it's still stuff that you have to teach yourself, and it's so valuable. And then even through business I also taught myself different things, so I value that a lot more. And every single story that we bring up here, and well, hashtag go to flyer movement, and also the podcast, of course, it's stories like yours that you're like, well, I worked really hard for it, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm here to teach you. And oof, I swear, ladies and gentlemen of the Team Flyer community and beyond, I swear, like you are a true cheerleader as well. You're always gentle and kind and positive, yet strict, yet just like you hit all the notes. You hit all the notes, I swear. Like
Thank you.
it's
I just
one of
think, you know what? There's so much to go around for everybody, and everybody deserves to shine. You know what I'm saying? So,
I
like,
know it. Yep, there you go. I know
yeah.
exactly what you're saying, and I just find that so wonderful. So you said a little bit of what we're going to talk about next, about your magazine, Next on Scene, and your podcast. So how did you get started? Where can we find you with your podcast and magazine? Tell us about that a little bit.
Love it. Well, first of all, I have to say I'm so proud that you launched this podcast. Go Girlfriend. That's so awesome.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so I started my podcast 6 years ago almost, or 5 years ago, before podcasting was even a thing. So I really kind of was thrown into the fire, and I feel like that's the best way to learn. And I learned from YouTube. YouTube is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's where all of us need to be now, because people constantly want to learn how to be more visible, how to be more educated, and YouTube is like a free outlet basically for that. So that's been my resource for my Bible for how I built my business, at least on the podcast and the magazine format. So my magazine came around because when I was promoting people on my podcast, I was looking for other media outlets to get my clients in. And not being from here, I know you can relate to this. Like, it's very hard to
Reach.
find community, very hard
Yes.
to, find your people and find people that want to help you. So especially in media, they're very strict about like letting you in their circle. And I was like, this needs to stop. Like, we need to be welcome to everybody. Like, there's plenty to go around for everyone. And that's when I was like, I'm going to create my own outlet so people don't feel like they don't have an opportunity to be seen or heard, So that's kind of how it started. I've been using YouTube as my Bible, and I make my magazine on Canva. This is like for people to know. So that's literally what I've been doing. And I've
And
been doing this since like 2016.
it is so incredible, like, to hear that. First of all, you're correct about YouTube, obviously. So you just find so many cool tools.
So many people.
Second of all, what you said, you got to be thrown on the bus. I've been thrown on the bus a million gazillion times with business, with personal life. Like, I take the mother effing leap. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it, and I'll see what happens. I mean, I'll make a plan as I go, and usually it's a pretty good one, because that's how you learn.
Right.
And I love what you said about media as well. Much like, as you already know with us, it's about all for me and for us. It's all about community over competition. It's all that community vibe that we're all here for each other, and we all have gone through the same thing one way or another. So the fact that you've created that at a not in a bigger way than what we do here, but in a different way, of course, because you do the events that we're going to talk about really soon. But the magazine itself, like I own one of them, and I'm like, oh my God, I want them all, because they're so useful and they're done so well. Like Canva, like seriously.
I know.
Wow.
Thank you. I know. Literally. So I don't use Canva for printing. Like, I found a printing company, but at least to make them, like, I'm doing it all on my own. Like, that was literally
That
all my own stuff.
that is just so inspiring. I think that's the word, inspiring and jaw dropping, because that's what we're all about. Like women and men doing their thing and just going, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, I think
Um,
it's just like you find a need that you want to fill
yeah.
and you want to help people and you just have the drive to do it. So that's why I did it.
Yep, I agree. I was just telling a friend about that this morning. I'm like, I have the drive, I have the passion, the patience, and the discipline. And I feel like just with those four things and love, lots of love, of course, just
Hmm.
go up and do it.
It's true.
Next on scene, can you tell us why the name?
Yeah, this is actually a funny story, and I'm going to be vulnerable and open up a little bit. So, when I first launched my company in 2015, it was originally called Get Seen. And I thought it was awesome. Hashtag Get Seen. You weren't seeing that anywhere. Seen is everywhere. The word seen you see everywhere, but there was nothing that said Get Seen, like, because it's kind of the same concept as Next on Scene, right? So
Exactly.
what I found out was there were other magazines and other things around me with similar names, and so I was threatened that I had to change my name through multiple emails and multiple different things. And I was like, I need to trademark something and protect myself. And this was like when I was like 27, like I'm 31 now, so I'm not that old, but at a time when you're vulnerable and you're young and you're still figuring it out, you're just like, oh my God, this is scary shit. Like, I hope you don't care that I'm cursing right now.
No,
It's true,
just be yourself.
Yeah. So I basically like did some research. I found a trademark lawyer and he was like, we need to find something that you can protect that nobody else has. So my husband actually came up with Next on Scene. So that's how Next on Scene began, because we wanted to give people a platform to be next. And it was kind of like Get Seen, but
It's
it
a
was
beautiful
more,
play on words.
yeah,
I give you that 110% because when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, that actually makes so much sense. You're like, you're next and you're going to be seen because it's
yep.
seen, SCENE.
Hmm.
So you're going to be seen next on scene. I don't know. I love play on words. That's just my personal like pet peeve, I guess. Or not pet peeve, but like perk or whatever.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's a hell of a story. I just remembered I did hear about it on your podcast. I know that you
Really?
revamped your podcast as well. So
Yeah.
when I
I did
started
that
listening to
too.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I just think, you have to, I mean, word of advice to you and your listeners, always protect yourself, like, because as you grow, there are just going to be people that are not going to like you and they're going to threaten you and do stupid things. But if you protect yourself in the right areas, they can threaten you all they want, but you're protected. So,
Exactly. I agree completely. Decent word
mhm,
of advice right there.
right.
So, my lovely loves, your events. You got fashion shows as well. So, if all this wasn't enough, you're the one that you're the gift that keeps on giving.
Totally. I love it.
You,
Thank
your events. My jaw dropped. I'm like, oh my god, they're so fabulous. There's such an awesome, wonderful vibe within those events that you just go and you're like, you feel the love and you hear about all these different people and you're like, oh my god, like I want it all. I want to talk to everyone. And I don't know, I love what you do. I really do. So I'll stop gushing for 2 seconds.
you.
You tell us please about your fashion shows and your events.
Yeah, totally. So you went to, actually, that was the first time that I did that event in the fall. So I had done a bridal expo a couple of years ago. And it went really well. But what I found was I'm representing so many different walks of life in terms of the entrepreneurial space that I really want to just call it a Next on Scene showcase, because it allows you to really, like, if you're a solopreneur and you have a business, this is the place to be seen for that. So that's my goal with the events. Like the trade show that I did in the fall, it really allows you a space to be seen in your ideal target market and generate some real authentic good people. That's my goal. Like I'm all about quality and not quantity. And I think that's why I'm just slow moving, but slowly growing. Um, and the fashion shows in the spring. So I originally went to school for fashion merchandising, and you have to take chemistry. And so I was literally failing out of chemistry, like totally going to be blunt here. So I was like, okay, I need to like switch my major, figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So I switched my major and transferred schools because I wanted to represent the designers, and you can't do public relations at the school I was originally at. So I became the spokesperson for boutiques and designers. So the fashion show is a platform for me to give a voice to people in the fashion, beauty, and wellness space. So you'll see up and coming boutiques, independent designers. I usually sponsor a really new out of college student every show, because I really feel like I want to give back and give them a platform to be seen
Oh,
too.
that's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. And that's like my passion, like project, like really building on that.
That is a
So
huge passion project
yeah.
for many ways. First of all, I've done event planning. I love event organizing. Originally, way back when, I also thought that was going to be my thing, just like organize events and put them all together because I love them. I wanted to create so much more. That's why we're here today, obviously.
We're
So I'm
doing
not
it.
only
Totally.
I'm not only creating events. However, I understand what's behind the scenes with all that, creating one and putting them all together and like being part of different vendors, and like you have to create a space for, like an equal space for everyone, and see what they would like and all the just everything. You have that. You have amazing what's it called, backdrops. You have also like to take the pictures. I remember that one. Really cool VIP bags and goodie bags. Like you thought of it all, and the fact that I know that you're continuing to like grow is just impressive. It is very, very impressive to run a one woman show like
Thank you.
all that. That's congratulations,
Let me just tell
seriously.
you, you cannot do events as one woman show. I have a team of people that help with that stuff.
Yeah.
There is no way
No way.
that could be one woman show. But at least like, and I'm also like, I feel like because I'm slow moving. So the goal of this show today is that you should be in for the marathon and not the sprint. I heard somebody say that like recently, and like the marathon is the long-term goal, because it's about the long-term success. The short-term success is great for now, but it's for now, it's not forever. So that's why like it's better to focus on the quality of people you surround yourself
Yeah,
with.
definitely.
Yeah,
I agree with both. That's an interesting sentence. You're preparing for the marathon, not the sprint, because it is that. It's not like you're competition, like you're competing with anybody else but yourself. It's just like this is what it's
exactly.
the long run of it. You're completely correct, because everything that I build is for that. I'm
Mhm.
not building anything to last me these next 6 months. Like everything that I'm putting, it's kind of like, when you build a house, it's like you don't want a house for six
Same
months.
thing.
Ideally, you don't want a house for 6 months. You want a house for a lifetime when you build it. So it's like that. Exactly. I love that. And
Exactly.
I forgot the other thing. So with the fashion shows and the showcase, better said, you do it how often? Like how many times a year?
So my goal is to only do 2 big events a year, because I find when I do them less frequently, more people go. And that's from experience. And I give people that advice all the time. When you do monthly things, they need to be something with education, because I feel like people get so busy, and so their time available is limited. So if you give them, so that's why I do my monthly mastermind programs, because it makes them invested to show up to educate themselves, but also have a little networking piece with that. So
I do like that a whole lot. So you usually do them, I'm assuming, in spring and in fall, correct?
yes. Oh my God. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. So I'm doing my fashion show May 2nd. And then, I mean, right now it's tentative, but that's like my heart set date. And then I do a big trade show in the fall. Yes. And I
Exactly.
think like I did a holiday shopping event in December this year. And I think there's so much competition with events in December. There's just so much going on. People get busy with travel. So I think I'm just going to like do like a little celebratory thing with people in my circle. And if they can come, great. And if not, it is what it
I
is.
like that as well.
So,
You're right. December, it is a crazy month, I think, all around the world. No, doesn't matter where you're from and what you do. I feel December is always very, very busy and hectic. Um, I do love, and that's something that I do stand by with everything that I've written, everything that's been online, whatever. It's quality over quantity. That you put your heart, soul, and passion into that, and that's better. So I do like the fact that even if it's just like what you said, just one in spring and one in fall, it's definitely way better because you know that you're putting your 110% each and every time.
exactly.
And it's fun. And like, people do get busy. And like, even though we love everything you do, it's kind of difficult to like follow through. Excuse my voice.
No worries.
My little throat. Yeah, so May 2nd, I know that we're going to have all the information sooner rather than later in general. We're going to stay tuned. I know like everything, I'll link everything for you, so do not worry. All right, so you are an utterly positive person. You really are. Um, I love seeing that about you. I love that it's something that it transfers. Like you see it across the screen. No matter if I'm seeing you through like Facebook or Instagram or whatever, it's like, oh, she's utterly positive. So tell us like a daily mantra that you use, or how you view self-care, and kind of a mix and mash of you.
Great question. So I actually find, just because, not everybody's life and every day is perfect. Like I have my own stuff for sure. I usually every morning try to not touch my phone till at least like 9-10 in the morning. So I get up at like maybe like 7:30. So I usually take my dog for a walk. I take that hour and a half solid for me. And I love to read. I read a book every morning, like a page or two in a book. So it gives me structure. Like I totally need that structure. And then I usually write in my journal. So like gratitude journaling. I love doing all of that stuff. So that's my like morning routine. And then at night, because I've been working really long days recently, so I love, like, as I'm in bed, I just meditate maybe like 5 or 10 minutes before I actually fall asleep. So that's been my routine lately. That's been feeling pretty good.
Oh, I love that. We have very similar routines as well. I do wake up early as well.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what I do the rest of the day. So sometimes I do actually wake up at 5 and start working like 6-ish, 6:30-ish, because it depends on like how early I have to stop the day. Because I also volunteer with an elementary school. So depends on those days. The rest of the day, that's why I start a little bit early. But regardless of what I'm trying to say here is that my mornings are also for myself, much like you. Like I try to stay away from my screen as much as possible because I'm on the screen all the time.
Same here.
As a
Same.
content creator, it doesn't matter if it's only social media. It's like, oh, we're actually creating content. So I'm actually writing a post, I'm recording something. You're always looking at a screen. And even in your free time, it's like, oh, let's watch TV or whatever, you know? So I really, much like you, try to be away and I take those mornings for myself. I do journal every day. I'm very grateful. So like I write what I'm grateful for, all these sorts of things. And I agree once again with like the reading and the meditating at night and just kind of the disconnecting part, you know?
Totally. I think it's really important to do that stuff. You don't realize it, but like all day is not about you. It's about, routine and things you need to get done to make money for your everyday living and all that other stuff. So you got to make that time in every day for yourself.
Every single day. I do agree. I mean, no matter how difficult it is and whatnot, but you do see, like, you see a difference. You really, really see a difference of like, I remember way back when I used to have that 9 to 5 job and it was completely crazy and hectic because you have to wake up and you have to, cross the city, when I was in Spain and Barcelona's huge and whatnot. And even then, so I was like, I don't want to wake up and like get dressed really quickly and just rush out the door. I want to like start my day and feel my day. So I don't care if I have to wake up earlier. It's just kind of like, oh, these moments are for me. These quiet moments are for me because I need them as strength to continue my day.
Oh, so true. It's so true. And I also, like, one piece of advice that I have is to really dedicate your time and money to finding a mentor or a coach, because I feel like that for me is me time. Like we're focusing on things that I need to work on for myself. And that's been really, really beneficial to me because I don't make time in myself for the day. But if I plan it in my schedule and I know that I'm investing into it, it's about me at that point for that 1 hour or whatever that amount of time is.
Exactly. I do love that piece of advice without a doubt because it's so useful. This goes to like anything, not only like a mentor or a coach, but even like therapy. Like I feel like you always need
So
someone
true.
to talk
So
to
true.
and to make sure that all your needs are met as well. Like we're complex, we're human beings. Like we have so many layers and so many things happening to us at the same time that I do agree. It's like get a mentor, get a coach, or go to therapy. Like it's absolutely fine. Like you need that me time. So that is good. Like and one of my favorite things about you, one of those is, see, I told you I screw up all the time. It's
I love it.
just naturally me. um, is that even though you are a mentor and you are a coach to so many people, you take time out of your day and you know how valuable it is to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something so important. Like,
Great point.
you need to
Great
practice
point.
what you preach, and you do that.
Yep.
And I know you do that.
Yeah, I'm really trying to get better about that. So that's why I'm vocalizing this because I think it's really important, like super
It's so
important.
good also to vocalize it. And not that because you're being selfish. I'm like, oh my God, look at me. Look what I do. Like, no, it's like you need to express yourself and also like let it out. And then people can also be like, yeah, like, how's that doing? And, how not only hold you accountable, but also like valuing yourself and knowing that you're doing this for you. So, my darling, so if all this wasn't enough, Team Flyer, I swear, with everything she has going on, you also launched or about to launch 2 mastermind programs.
Yes, I am. So I launched virtual. I do a virtual program. We meet once a month for 6 months for the marketing mastermind. So we cover all different topics from content creation, Pinterest, YouTube, all the things, all the things. It's awesome. So we meet up once a month for about 90 minutes. And I obviously facilitate. And then we have different guest speakers that come on. So that started January 7th. So that one closed already. And then I have one that launches on the 29th. But by the time this goes live, people will know about it for my next session. So we meet in person once a month for 6 months, starting January 29th. It's usually the last Wednesday of every month. And we basically mastermind about all things social media, where I facilitate, give some insight, and then also I bring in an expert in the marketing and media realm. So our first expert is feng shui. I don't know if you guys are into that. I'm all about feng shui.
Yeah,
so awesome.
You and me have to talk about spirituality. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to be on the
do.
podcast
I love
again.
your tower readings. I love your tower reading stuff. So fun.
Like, we need to talk about feng shui. We need to talk about like tarot, of course. We need to talk like this is a whole sad note, I know, but like, there's going to be an episode you're going to come back on. We're going to talk about all these things.
All the things.
Like, I know we have this in common, but we talk about business so much, and I'm like, wait, no, there's more.
So I really believe a successful entrepreneur is spiritual. I do. You need to have both, because the spirituality in you allows you self-care time, by the way. It forces you to have some self-care time. So
once again, that's just so freaking valuable. It's just, you got to love yourself and make sure you have time for yourself, without a doubt.
It's true. So yeah, that's my marketing mastermind program. So we meet for 2 hours a month for 6 months, and then the next one launches in July. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. And it's really awesome. There's usually about, 10 to 15 of us, and I keep it small because I really want to give my individual attention to the people that are there. So,
which is also very incredible, without a doubt. Because I mean, what we said before, it's quality over quantity. I mean,
right.
Yeah, you can probably host 500 people because it's you and you're a wizard at marketing, and it's you and you're so bubbly. However, you're like, no, 10, 50 people, like, I'm going to give them my all, and this is what we're doing right now,
Right. And this, honestly, like the virtual one, I only launched for the first time at the beginning of this month. So this is my first time ever doing that. And then the in-person, this is my second round. So I'm still feeling out what's working, what's not working. And basically what's really fun too about the in-person is every month we go to a new place.
That's what I was going to ask you about. I was like, wait a second, there's something fun about this too.
It's really cool. So the first month we're going to a rock cave, a salt rock cave, which is so cool.
I saw your pictures and I'm like, oh my God, I want to go. I just look at that.
It's freaking awesome. It's so awesome. And so each month I really, really take the time to do the research on fun places that you can like really enjoy the atmosphere as well, outside of the people there. So
it's so much fun. I feel like with you, you're going to get a guaranteed, a learning experience, of course, because you're so knowledgeable in everything that you've done and what you want to create. And also you just get fun because of your personality and because you think of fun. You're like, you need to have fun in life.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. So what is your main goal with these two programs? What do you want your clients, your viewers, your people to get from this?
I think my goal is for people to walk away being like, if I take these steps and implement them, I will really make myself more visible. I will create more abundance in all areas of my life. And that's my takeaway. And I've seen, so some of the women that did my first program renewed into my next program, which is awesome, because that tells you so much. Like the growth I've seen in them is so substantial. So it's like, I know the potential that all these people have. So it's awesome.
You do see it. I know you see it. Like there's something that like, you got this, and you're so great with finding their individual niche and qualities. Because you know, like what you said earlier today, like they're so different. They're all from all walks of life.
It's true.
Like for example, I remember the event, of course, but to tell our viewers a little bit, what kind of people do you have at events? What kind of vendors, and like, so they can get a kind of a grasp of what you have there.
Totally. So in the fall, it was a wellness and fashion trade show experience. So we had everything from coaches, doulas, spas, personal trainers, massage therapists, fitness apparel, boutiques, realtors, lawyers, like literally everything you need to function on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly. It's all there. Nice little package.
Right. So that's why going forward, I'm just going to call it a Next On Scene showcase for entrepreneurs, because that's what people, if you're an entrepreneur, like that's where you want to be.
Agreed. So. Completely agree. And what can we expect for the one in spring? Do you know?
I would say that will definitely be more focused on the beauty, wellness, beauty and fashion space. So you'll see like accessories, you'll see spas, you'll see more wellness. I think a little bit of wellness, but it'll definitely be more fashion based.
And as far as your magazine, how often does it come out, my love?
3 times a year.
And where can we find them?
Online at nextonscene.com, or you can subscribe and that's how you get it in print, or you can attend my events and that's how you get them in print. I'm keeping print very limited and exclusive because it is so expensive to print. But one of my dream goals with the magazine is to get them in airplanes, because I feel like that's the only place people read magazines now. Because you're sitting there and you're like, Sky Miles, what about Next On Scene? And like pulling it out of the chair, you know? So that's my vision with that.
That is an incredible vision, actually, because you're right. Magazines, sadly, we really don't read them anymore.
No,
and we're not going to get into a debate right now of like, oh, we really don't read magazines or newspapers, and off we go. Oh, I'm so sad with library, though, and like the bookstores, but it's a whole different matter. I love your vision about the on airplanes, because you're right. You're like, you forget your book, or you're like, oh, it's just an hour plane ride, it's fine, I can sleep, and you really can't sleep or whatever. You're like, let's read a magazine.
Right. And if it's like forced in front of you, it's like, oh shit, like what is this? I want to check this out. I'm sitting here doing nothing else.
Exactly.
That's how you get the exposure that you like, a forced read basically.
And especially because it's very local, isn't it? Because for right now, you're here based in Boston, Massachusetts, of course.
So it's local because I'm based here, but it's actually international. Like I've featured people in Australia and Italy, and like it's really grown. Like I originally did it for people that I was representing on my podcast, and now it's just like totally taken off beyond that. So it's cool.
That once again, congratulations, because it's just so wonderful to see, and that's what the world needs more. Like, of course, these entrepreneurs, but also like these people are like, you know, we're here to make the world a better place. Like these people from all the way from Australia, or vice versa, like they need our help in our presentation. And what you said, I take to heart. Like, there's room for everybody. There's always room for everybody.
It's true. It's true. There's no need to think that like whether I'm a marketing person or an influencer or you're doing like the clientele is going to come to you because of you, and it is what it is, you know? So
with the same kind of subject in mind, what is one piece of advice that you give to your clients and beyond?
Honestly, what I've said numerous times on this podcast, there is plenty to go around for everybody. Like, don't think that like, because there is competition around you, even if they're local, that you're not going to get clientele. Like there's a reason that you have a passion in this purpose. And so it will work itself out basically.
Preach. Yep, definitely.
But I want to point one thing out too. If you're not presenting yourself the right way, it's not going to be translated, and you're not going to be getting people the way that you want them to. So that's why I've come in as a mentor marketing person to help you get the clientele you're looking for. That's how I found this.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said before, you're the good, I don't know how to explain it, to be honest, but like whatever you do, like your career, whatever, you start your own business, you're like the person to go to, like right in between, the person that links one thing with another. That's who you are.
Exactly.
And that's so useful, and we need more of, and everyone needs that kind of help, because you're just transferring or transitioning, better said, from point A to point B, and you're that person to go to. So there you go. Yeah, that's you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. That's a great way to describe it. I definitely think that I am.
I definitely did not want to leave out your mascot, actually.
Oh my
God. Can you tell us about your mascot and how you got him and from where, so we can give a shout out?
Oh my God, you're so cute, because you have pets too, so you just totally get it. So
yes.
Kirsty, she is like my best friend. She like actually literally just walked in here.
She's like, who, me? Like, who are you talking about, me, Ari? I'm like, yes, ma'am, of course, Hershey.
So, she's so funny. So anyway, she since day one when I set up my podcast system in my guest room closet, she always sat on the bed behind my studio setup. So she has been my number one fan outside of my husband, but like love her. Like love her. She is my everything. So I'm sure you get that with your dog and your cat too. Totally know that you get that.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And a shout out to where she's from, because I know that
Oh
much like me,
yeah.
she's a rescue dog.
So she's from Georgia originally. And her name originally was like Captiva or something. It's like an island off of Florida, and we were like, we're not naming our dog this. Like, we're just not doing that. But we got her at Cape Ann. There's a animal shelter in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and we found her. They did a pop-up one day with pets in a rug store, and that's where we met her. So we rescued her from that shelter.
That's just so sweet. And I also know, I keep pointing out things that you do, of course, 5% of your sales from the events, right?
Yes. So each time, so yes, they go back to Cape Ann. Totally. I'm trying to figure out though, with my fashion show, if I'm going to incorporate a different nonprofit, just because I have some different visions of where I want to take that. So I'm figuring that out.
That's also something beautiful, even more beautiful about you. Like another quality you have, once again, helping others. It's like, I love everything that you just stated within this hour of a podcast and what you do and what you see online. You are helping others 110 million%. Even something like this, I guess you have done Cape Ann, but you're like, all right, I love you, Cape Ann, but we're going to find other people as well, because there's people in need, of course. And it's just so nice. It's so refreshing to see. It really is. And of course, I had to shout out Hershey. Like you, and you also like, she's so cute. And even like,
you guys would be the best of friends, Ariana. Pretty confident.
I know, right? I was gonna hug her. That's all I want to do. All right. So, can you please describe yourself in 3 words, Jackie?
3 words. I would say I'm reliable, loyal, and supportive. Are those good?
Hey, you're describing yourself. I'm pretty sure those are good.
I know. I'm creative too. I'm going to throw that one in there. I'm creative.
There you go. A freebie. Yeah. Much like I tell my friends, don't doubt yourself. You do you, you be you. You're like, don't tell me like, is that good? I'm like, hey, hun, you feel like you're loyal, which I know you are. And all these things. I like those words. I do.
Thank you.
What are you thankful for?
Every day I try to, with my gratitude journaling, I always say like, I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I've created, this career that I've always known that I wanted. And I knew it was inside of me. There was a fire, but I never knew what that looked like. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I found a really awesome husband that has allowed me to create the platform that I have. And I always think for like his health and Hershey's health. I do that every day. Yeah, those are the main things that I'm thankful for, like health first and support.
Same, to be honest, same. Like it's those are the things that I'm thankful for every single day. I love add-ons as like particular details of whatever happened in my day or of yesterday or today. It depends on like when I write in my journal, of course. However, health and support, we have to give a shout out. We give a shout out to Hershey. She's adorable. However, your number one fan is your husband. Can we give a shout out to him? What does he do? And what
Totally. Andrew is a lawyer, real estate lawyer. So he loves helping people buy and sell homes. He also helps people get liquor licenses for their restaurants, even open restaurants and salons. He's just been totally my number one fan, which is so awesome. So yes, shout out to him. And his Instagram is Delory at Law. He's been all over my Instagram coaching, so he's obsessed. So definitely check him out.
I love it because he's slowly become like I know he's always been your cheerleader, of course, and whatnot, but like I see him more online now, and I love that he's also like asking questions and just commenting more, and I'm like, oh my god, you're so adorable.
Love it. I love it.
And he gives you so many shout outs as well, and I'm like, that's just love. That's pure love right there.
Yeah. Thank you. I have to say, like, I am lucky. We dated for like 7 years before we got married. So we did long distance because he's from Mass originally and I was from New York. So we did long distance for like 3 years before I moved here.
Goodness.
So
how often did you see each other?
Like every other weekend, if not every 2 weeks. but we made it
That's
work. We
great.
made it happen.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
made it work. How long have you been married now?
Uh, I think like under 2 years, July 2018.
Okay, yeah, so just about. That is wonderful. You've been dating a long time, and you can tell. You can tell that you're really, really good friends as well. Oh,
Thank
I would
you.
love to hear your story of it as well, like for the next podcast and whatnot. Like right now, like as I always say, this is an introduction to Jackie,
Totally.
and your background and your business, of course. However, you're gonna get back on here. We're gonna talk about spirituality and your date life, essentially.
Totally. And then we'll talk more about that too on my podcast after your introduction. We'll have fun with that.
Exactly, because like there's so many topics and so many interesting things.
I know.
Um, oh, I kind of forgot what I was going to say when you were telling me about the story about with your husband. I agree, because I mean, my husband's my number one supporter as well, and I always give him a shout out. He does zero social media. He could care less. He
That's
is,
okay. He's your supporter. My
yeah,
husband wasn't doing social media until more recently, so you're
and
fine.
he's all about it. Like I just find it
Yeah.
hilarious and cute,
But
and you're like, oh my god.
once they're in, they get obsessed. That's the problem. We're all the same way. So I think maybe your husband's kind of like, I don't want to get into this hole. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's why he's
It's like,
kind of
I'm
like, I'm gonna
fine.
take my time. Yeah,
It's like he's very private. I feel like you two are probably the same. We're totally opposites, because I know my husband and me are totally opposites as well.
totally.
Like just personality wise, I'm like bubbly and positive. I'm like, hi, and then he's like, all right. More straight to the point as well. But anyways.
Anyways,
Exactly. So yeah, I am super thankful to have you on the blog as well as on the podcast. You have been on the blog before.
yeah,
I'll
you
put
covered a beautiful job in my fall event. I loved it so
Oh
much.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was
You
so
fell
fun.
in love with it, which I was like really, really honored. I'm like, I'm just speaking from the heart.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
best type of blog. Honestly, those are the best
that's
blogs.
every single blog post. It's written from the heart without a doubt. Yeah, we had you on twice on the blog so far. We had your story a little bit with Go to Fly at the beginning, and then we did cover your event exactly. And
I
I
know
took a whole
you're so
bunch of
awesome.
pictures, and I talked to a whole lot of people, and I loved it. And I'm like, this is Jackie. This is who she like, what she does, and what she's all about. I'm so thankful to have you in my life, to be able to talk to you in this way, and of course to have you today on the podcast. I love
Yeah,
it.
well, I'm so honored, and you are such a cheerleader for so many people, Ariadna. So keep doing all the stuff you're doing. It's awesome to watch, really.
Thank you. It means a lot. It
Yeah.
really, really does. Um, let's wrap it up here. And we're going to see you next time. I know I'm going to see Jackie really soon, of course, with following episodes as well. And as for you, Team Flyer, this is the end of our podcast, of course. Thank you very much for listening. New episodes come out every single Wednesday. Stay tuned. Hope you have a beautiful day, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, Ariana.
Bye, love.